Video game disc binders. In hindsight, they were a necessity for my household growing up, but as an adult, they are the bane of my existence. Growing up on the Gamecube and PS2 during the early 2000s while having multiple brothers meant that we would leave all of our games in a degenerate pile of discs everywhere. Digging through the pile of discs on top of your PS2, hoping that the game you want to play was there, was always a terrible experience. For example, you wanted to play The Sims Castaway and it isn't in the disc pile. Alright, let's go check if it's in its game case. Maybe it's there. Oh, it's empty. Let's try the last game I remember playing before it. Maybe it's in Jack 3. Huh. Jack 3 has The Sims 1 in it. Well, let's see what is in Sims 1. Alright, so Sims 1 not only has Ratchet and Clank inside of it, but also Bard's Tale. This is starting to get really annoying. Alright, let's try Bard's Tale. Then you're like, what the hell? Why are there 3 discs inside of here and none of them are The Sims Castaway? What's going on? That was pretty much the daily experience of gaming in my house in the early 2000s. That is until my mom solved all of our problems. She introduced us to the video game disc binder. Honestly, I think this thing was originally meant for DVDs, but obviously you could use them to store whatever. It also used to have a nice wood case on it that would magnetically shut closed. I have no idea where that piece is anymore, probably in a landfill. In the moment, I thought this was the optimal genius solution, but in hindsight it wasn't. The disc binders introduced a whole other set of issues. The first issue that the disc binders introduced was the increased search time versus just having your games on the shelves. You need to flip through each individual binder section, and you're only seeing a couple games at a time. In one of the better disc binders I own, you could see like 6 games at once. Of course, this is an improvement if you're just a bunch of unorganized animals like my brothers and I were, but as an adult, I'd rather keep my games in their cases. Personally, I can find my games a lot more quickly when I just scan my bookshelf with my eyes. You just gotta find your game's iconic label and then there you go, you have your game. This is even more efficient if you sort your games from A to Z. The next issue that these disc binders cause is that when they're filled up, you now have no home for your new games, especially as a kid with no income. What does that mean? Now you have to search for your games page by page in a disc binder and through your shelf of 90% empty cases, completely eclipsing and replacing the original issue with an even worse issue. Going through empty case after empty case to find the game you wanted to play is a literal nightmare. Obviously, this issue can be resolved by not being a moron or by purchasing a new disc binder, but I can't say money or intelligence were assets I necessarily had as a kid. The final and most severe issue out of all of them was that these disc binders scratched the heck out of your discs. I only had this realization when I had moved on from using disc binders. Pretty much all of my discs from any generation after I stopped using disc books look absolutely mint. Let's do a quick little comparison. Take a look at my Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I only ever played this game for like 5 hours and its life was entirely spent in a disc sleeve. I put this game in my console maybe 5 times. This game was only mistreated in the sense that I neglected entirely to play the game. Now compare that to my Demon's Souls for PS5. The game has stayed in its case when not in use. I have swapped this game out of the PS5 like 20 to 30 times because I was playing Cold War at the time. And then the game has about 60 hours on it in comparison to the 5 hours I only put in on Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Demon's Souls looks practically mint. The Assassin's Creed, not so much. I believe the surface of discs are scratched by the disc binders due to the dirt and dust sitting on the surface of the sleeves themselves. The discs then glide across any of these foreign objects as you put it into the sleeves and this scratches your disc. Yes, there is a chance that they're making the pockets out of really crappy, poor quality material that just scratches the discs, but tell me, what are the odds of that versus dirt and dust naturally accumulating inside of the pockets? The chance does exist, but it's fairly low. Now, for a little science. Let's test my theory by taking a brand new burnable CD and treat it how I would have as a kid. First, let's start with just putting the disc in the sleeve repeatedly. Honestly, most scratches are quite superficial with only a couple deeper scratches, and you can now see how over time these scratches would build up and cause the disc to become unreadable. But due to the depth of the scratches being quite shallow, you could easily resurface one of these discs and revive them. Of course, it's better not to need to revive a disc at all, and if a piece of hard or sharper debris were to work their way into the sleeve, it would still destroy the disc, so I would personally just keep them in their case. I don't think anybody on this earth wants to experience this level of trauma again. Now let's test the real degenerosity. Let's try storing 2 discs in the same pocket, another really stupid thing I did as a kid. This has definitely caused significantly more scratches that would cause issues. This would be significantly amplified by any dirt or dust rubbing between the two discs, causing even deeper scratches. In closing, disc binders do cause disc damage over time, and they're best avoided. Of course, this damage is typically minimal if non-existent when the disc binders are kept relatively clean. But regardless, debris can always sneak their way into disc binders, changing minor scratches into game-ruining scratches. So keep your discs in their cases and handle them with love and care. The only time I would be in favor of using disc binders is when dealing with Gamecube games. Those game cases make me feel like I'm gonna crack their inner ring of the disc no matter how careful I take them out. Just look how ridiculously rigid it is. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel a lot, and it's a good way to say thanks.